Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. What on earth am I doing here again? You're probably wondering. Well, with it having been a good almost decade since I started on this darn channel doing Let's Plays. I've been around here longer than a whole decade, I'll admit, but, I've been doing Let's Plays for almost 10 years, and I think that deserves a revisit to some older ones. Some older, really not well done ones, all things considered, because of how old they are. Revisit games like Sonic Advance that we might actually give it a better time this time around. This time, however, I'm playing the game live, so the fuck-ups are real. Of course, Sonic Advance, the very first handheld Sonic game on the Game Boy Advance. You can select from up to 4 characters: Sonic himself, Miles Tails Prower, Knuckles the Echidna, and Amy Rose. She has the most different playstyle out of the 4 selectable characters, but for the purposes of the current playthrough, we are going to play as Sonic! Going straight into Green Hill Zone. Like, no holds barred here. You can jump, you can do the insta-shield attack. You can boop enemies, free animals. Get shields from little container from the item boxes, and if you double tap the D-pad in the air, you can do a little bit of an air dash. Also, the B button, press it once, it lets you roll. Do it twice, you do a somersault. 3 times, slide. I don't know if I'll ever have much use for those particular abilities, but there you go. And I think that is pretty much Sonic himself in a nutshell. I'm sure there's other things I can think of when we get around to them. But for right now, bouncing on springs, going up high, falling on spikes already because I'm a doof. Going down hills. Wait. Aw, damn it. I was about to demonstrate one more thing Sonic can do, and that is grind on rails on the rare instance there are rails in this game, but unfortunately, I managed to completely miss it. Yeah, we've got modern Sonic playing in a 2D Sonic game. How do you like them apples? And this was long before anyone had come up with a Sonic the Hedgehog 4. And by God, far better than a Sonic the Hedgehog 4. Developed by the same development team, ultimately, and unfortunately, I don't know what happened. They just lost their minds ever since this game. And, well, to be fair, they kind of lost their mind making this game in the first place, because I just missed an opportunity to get a Chaos Emerald. Yeah, the way you get the Chaos Emeralds in this game, and I'm sure we'll explore that at a later time, is by locating a secret spring in very specific acts of the game in order to access the special stage, and then completing that special stage in question to actually acquire the Chaos Emerald. But that is not something I'm going to focus too much time on for this playthrough yet. Let's just play this for fun. For now, I might go after the Chaos Emeralds later on. I remember where they all are, for the most part, and I remember it being an absolute irritating factor during the initial Let's Play, where I actually, despite having all the Chaos Emeralds already, God's sakes, thank you, Dimps. Despite having all the Chaos Emeralds already, I went out of my way to actually show off where to, you know, how to get them. For crying out loud! And because I was using the original cartridge instead of an emulated copy, getting the last couple of Chaos Emeralds, certain Chaos Emeralds in general, was an absolute pain in the neck. You know, not only is it a problem trying to locate the secret springs where the Chaos Emeralds, where the secret stages are located to get the Chaos Emeralds, the special stages themselves were just a bitch and a half. And of course, as always, Dr. Eggman causing trouble as usual. What's the ruckus this time, Doc? The first, or maybe the second, I should think, because there was a previous Sonic handheld game before this that featured an egg hammer tank, or an egg hammer something or other. But we could call this the Egg Hammer Tank 1, even though there was an... Oh no, this thing just landed on me. Well, isn't that inconvenient? But yeah, Egg Hammer. First of these, there's going to be an Egg Hammer in all 3 Sonic Advance games, but that's the first one. Or the second one, if you want to count the one from Sonic Pocket Adventure, of which I do not own, nor so I'm not going to attempt to do a playthrough of that. Getting it up here. Yeah. God, I keep missing it. But yeah, one thing I appreciate about this game is that it actually feels like a classic Sonic the Hedgehog title in terms of control and whatnot. The things you do, the way you control your handling, it all feels very classic Sonic. And then Dimps went and made Sonic the Hedgehog 4 and lost their freaking minds. Made a game that feels nothing like a classic Sonic. Okay, I'm just going around in circles here. There's really nothing... Outside of specific acts where you have to find the secret special stage spring, there's really nothing to find here. Like, this game is built more like... There's not really much to... Yeah. There's not much to find. You're not looking for secrets as much in this game. I mean, you can, but, you know, it's not... With exception to finding the special stage spring. Oh, for crying out loud, what's going on here? Duh! And yet mechanics like this actually freaking work. Where you roll up into a ball in one of these U-shaped tubes and Sonic will keep accelerating. On the other hand, it is also Dimps with their specific degree of level design, which, you know, I don't want to say much about it yet, but Dimps level design tends to be, you know, you think you're getting yourself into a good time because, you know, it's Sonic. It can't be that bad. I played Sonic 2, I played Sonic 3, it can't be terrible, and then you start running into some enemy placement that makes you think of Metropolis Zone's Slicers a lot, or bottomless pits that are just way too common for where you end up locating them. It's just like, what's the deal, dimps? And then another thing that occurs to me is enemy attacks and enemy patterns, because this is another case. Another thing in this game is that there's difficulty options. It's probably very likely set on normal difficulty right now. There's normal and easy. What's the difference? Well, there are some extra enemies in normal mode that are placed in more dickish locations than there are in easy mode. Easy mode just removes some rather undesirable enemy placement. I'm trying to remember, do I want to go to the left or the right? Yeah, this way. Wait. No, this isn't the place I was thinking of. Wait, yep, here it is. This is where one of these springs that I was talking about earlier are located. And the special stages in question, well... Alright, well, let's see them. Jump up way up into the sky and do some skydiving boarding thing. And you collect a certain number of rings. The problem is the depth perception in these special stages is abhorrently abysmal. Like, I've gotten used to it to a certain degree. But, you know, trying to follow certain lines of rings and do stuff like that. You know, the best way to get certain lines of rings, just to make sure, is to do a trick. Press the B button whenever you're near some rings, if you can afford to, because it widens your hitbox. And you don't want to hit bombs, because those will make you lose rings. Whoop. It also gets you stuck in place, and that's something. And when you do those techniques, you pass through those things, and one thing it says is that you're supposed to do a trick, or it says trick failed, but one thing that the game doesn't tell you is that you have to hold a directional input when you do the trick to actually not fail the trick. Like, you can pass through one of those things and do a trick, and it'll say trick failed, but you have to do it at the exact right time while holding a directional input, and it seems very awkward. But we've got one Chaos Emerald so far, the blue one. Hey, Sonic got a blue Chaos Emerald, because he's the blue guy. Yeah. But after you jumped on it, it just becomes a normal spring. Can't jump on it again once it ejects you. Not without restarting the stage or dying. I'm not actually. I don't know. Even if you do die, whether it'll reset the spring. But either way, you can't. At the very most, you can't replay a special stage on the same life. I don't know if that means you can't replay a special stage. I'm not sure if you can specifically do it within the same life, or like if you have to die or if you have to reset the stage entirely. That's something I can't be 100% clear on. Because it's just difficult enough getting to where those special stage springs are in the first place. Especially as Sonic, which is the thing I can say very decisively about this game is just like playing as Sonic basically, and you know, playing this game as Sonic just gives me a whole lot of clarity on the exact problems of Sonic and his friends, the differences between the characters, how they function, what they do. Because it just means that Sonic doesn't have many benefits. Like in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and in Sonic Mania, whenever he got shields, they had bonus effects and whatnot. But, you know, I never counted those as anything particularly special in Sonic's favor as far as maneuverability goes, because at the end of it all, these are temporary power-ups. You know, Tails can fly, Knuckles can glide and climb walls. Those are things that are permanent. Those are things that those characters can do that Sonic just plain Jane can't. You know, the ability to bounce, do a fire dash, or double jump with specific shield power-ups. Those are nice and something that sets him apart from the others. But at the same time, even that is more limiting than the things those guys can do in terms of general maneuverability, and that's something that is exemplified here in this game, because collecting an electric shield doesn't allow you to do anything. You still have your instant shield, but you don't get a double jump, so you don't get double jump benefits. And even then, I think these shields are a lot rarer in Sonic Advance than they are in, well, basically almost any other 2D Sonic game I can think of. Well, I should say the Sonic Advance series in general. Yeah. You know, some could say that, you know, just because he has the weakest maneuverability out of all the characters doesn't make him bad, you know. That just means he's more of a challenge mode or something like that, or that he's just vanilla, and I just... Forgive me if, after playing games like this for so long, that's just not something that clicks with me. Like, I would rather have all the characters have unique abilities that allow them to get from one place to another in their own way without being arbitrarily limited. Or, you know, at least to have some sort of offset or something to that effect. I don't know. Like, there is nothing about playing as Sonic other than the whole, oh, you're playing as the main character, that I really like about him in this game. Like, maneuverability-wise, he is the least maneuverable, with no benefits whatsoever. He can't fly, he can't glide, he can't climb walls. He can't even, you know, even Amy has the benefit of being able to get more use out of, like, springs because of her hammer. Like, Amy can use her hammer to get more out of springs, and we'll get into that later, I'm certain. I'm wasting so much time trying to get up here, I don't even know if there's anything worth it. I'm trying to remember where the special stage spring is. You know, I said I remember where they all are in this game, but now I've suddenly forgotten where the one is in this zone. It might have been in the first level, for all I know. my memory is not all the greatest. It's been almost... It has been, like, the Let's Play that I did for this game is probably the last time I played this game, so it's been years. I mean, there's a lot that I find particularly memorable about Sonic Advance, but, yeah, not really. Perhaps my memory is not... I don't claim to have the most perfect of memories. I can barely remember what I did last night. I'm trying to remember. When was this game released? 2002? 2003? Ah. Come on, Egghead. Ah! Where is he? Come out. There. And that's that for that. Moving on. Yeah, these levels are rather short when you're not really trying too hard to get through them all. Oh, come on. You know, I also really like the music to this game, despite the fact that I just not really listened to it all as much as I thought I should. You know, it's good music, I'll give them that much. Granted, I mean, oh yeah, the Penguinators that throw snowballs at you, like these fuckers were in Sonic 3 in Ice Cap Zone. Fuck them there. The fucking Penguinators. I'm sure there's another special stage in this. This is a rare instance where there's a special stage spring in both acts of this zone. If I recall correctly, and I think I've completely missed it. Granted, I think in this particular act, it is ridiculously difficult to get up to where I need to go with Sonic without something knocking me off course. But we'll look into that later. Speed shoes. Let's see how much trouble that caused me. I've gotten a couple thus far and not had any problems, but yeah. Granted, I'm not getting the most out of them right now. Speed! But fucking Penguinators! And that's just, I think the Penguinators are some of those specific enemies that disappear when you have it set to easy difficulty. Frick this stupid game for its stupid, what arbitrarily calls difficult. Dick enemy placement. And you know, considering the sort of, it's difficult to see what's ahead of Sonic in the first place, like in any 2D Sonic game, but usually there's enough, you know, that there's just enough so that you can see things coming. Penguinators and other dickishly placed enemies, they like to be put in places where Sonic will either run into them without any chance to know that they're there ahead of time, like no pause. I only just barely managed to avoid that, for example. Or the game will literally just do something to stop you. Whatever. Frick the special stages. I've already got one Chaos Emerald. I don't need to go after the others just yet. I have 3 more characters to play as, and it'll be a lot easier to get to the special stage locations with any of them. Compared to Sonic, who just doesn't have the maneuverability. And bottomless pits. Marvelous. Yeah, that's something most Sonic games don't feature too much of. A lot of bottomless pits. That's not to say that they don't, but I mean, Jimps loves them. So some very interesting boss enemy types. Maybe not super interesting, but you know, Sonic can't jump high enough to get to this thing. So what does he do? We've got that, and we've also got the problem that Sonic can freaking drown. I need to get out of the water fast. Get somewhere where I can get ya. Ooh, dropped 3 of them. Aren't we daring? Ah, come on. One, 2, 3, 4. Can I hit you at the door? No. Ah! And of course, hitting the bottom of those spikes hurts. Yeah, I don't like that boss's Sonic, honestly. Ow! Alright, well, I think that'll do it for this part of Let's Play, or perhaps Let's Replay, Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic Advance, whatever you want to call it. Thank you absolutely everyone for watching. There are links to my Twitter and Instagram, as well as the Discord in the description below. RCFS, and out!